Shalom and good evening. This is TV7 Israel News broadcasting to you from Jerusalem. And in today's top stories, Syria claims to have downed an Israeli fighter jet during an Israeli Air Force attack against Iranian targets south of the Syrian capital Damascus. U.S. Special Representative for Iran Brian Hook reveals a series of weapons that were confiscated by the United States and its Arab allies across the Middle East, which were smuggled into multiple conflict zones by the Islamic Republic's Revolutionary Guards to Iranian proxies. Israel has decided to halt its security coordination with the Palestinian Authority in the areas surrounding Jerusalem after a resident of East Jerusalem was arrested by Palestinian police in the West Bank city of Ramallah, who is suspected of selling lands to Jews. Israel launched a series of airstrikes in Syria last night, reportedly targeting the Al-Kiswa region, which is located south of the capital, Damascus. Several reports, which were confirmed by Syrian sources to TV7, reveal that the Israeli Air Force targeted multiple structures belonging to an Iranian-backed militia. According to one of the sources, explosions were heard from an area where an Iranian-backed militia was believed to have stored several shipments of Iranian weapons. While a reporter of Syria's state television initially confirmed hearing explosions in the southern part of the country, a Syrian military official told the Sana network that the army's air defense systems managed to intercept what he termed as hostile targets of the Al-Kiswa region. The military official further claimed that the alleged Israeli assault failed to achieve any of the targets, yet TV7 sources disputed the statement as an attempt to reassure the civilian population of Syria's military capabilities to protect its sovereignty. Meanwhile, Russia's RIA news agency cited Syrian security sources saying that the Syrian air defense forces shot down an Israeli warplane and 4 missiles. The source further claimed that the Israeli attack did not achieve its goals because the hostile targets were shot down. In response to this report, the IDF Spokesperson's unit told TV7 that reports regarding an IDF aircraft or an airborne IDF target having been hit are false. While the military spokesperson who spoke to TV7 refused to comment on any IDF operation activity, he noted that during a Syrian surface-to-air missile launching, one launch was identified towards an open area on the Israeli side of the Golan Heights. The military spokesperson who spoke to TV7 earlier today said that IDF troops found remnants of what seems to be a Syrian anti-aircraft missile fired during last night's incident. While the spokesperson further noted that the findings will be examined, he did not elaborate on the matter. Meanwhile, in Washington, the U.S. Special Representative for Iran Brian Hook revealed a series of weapons that were confiscated by the United States and its Arab allies across the Middle East, which were smuggled in multiple conflict zones by the Islamic Republic's Revolutionary Guards to Tehran's proxies. Showcasing a number of Iranian-made weapons that were found in the possession of Shiite militias, Ambassador Hook stressed it was a clear violation of a series of UN Security Council resolutions, including Resolution 2231, which served as the only document that in effect ratified the nuclear agreement with the Islamic Republic.
Iran has been prohibited by several UN resolutions from exporting arms for a decade. These restrictions were in place starting in 2006 under UN Security Council Resolution 1737 and 1747, which I helped to negotiate. The prohibitions have continued since 2015 under UN Resolution 2231. This display and the items we have added to it reveal an outlaw regime exporting arms as it pleases.
The Pentagon's showcasing of Iranian weapons, many of which were handed over by Saudi Arabia, was the second presentation of its kind. It coincided with growing concern in Congress over U.S. military support for the Saudi-led coalition in Yemen's civil war, which has led to a deep humanitarian crisis. Ambassador Hook, however, underscored the growing threat posed by the Iranian regime, which accumulates a risk of a regional escalation unless Washington and its allies would fail to act.
Today, the United States is unveiling new evidence of Iran's ongoing missile proliferation. The Iranian threat is growing, and we are accumulating risk of escalation in the region if we fail to act. Iran's support of the Houthi militants has deepened. its backing of terrorist activities across the world has increased, and its efforts to undermine regional stability have expanded. The inventory in this display has expanded since December. This is a function of Iran's relentless commitment to put more weapons into the hands of even more of its proxies, regardless of the suffering.
While the Iranian Foreign Ministry did not immediately respond to TV7's request for comment, it had denied allegations of supplying weapons to any militia across the region, even though its Lebanese proxy Hezbollah had on several occasions hailed the Islamic Republic of its unwavering support of the Shiite group's military capabilities, which its leader, Hassan Nasrallah, declared are aimed to confront Israel. In related news, the Iranian airline Fars Air Kishem, which according to Western media reports is used by the Islamic Republic's Revolutionary Guards to smuggle weapons to Tehran's allies in the region, conducted its first direct flight from Tehran to the Lebanese capital Beirut. Flight QFZ 9964, which was reportedly used to smuggle weapons by the regime's military arm, landed yesterday morning at 10:19 a.m. in the Lebanese capital. The direct flight from Tehran, which was the first of its kind, comes more than 2 months after Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu accused the Iranian-backed Hezbollah of attempting to build an infrastructure for the conversion of surface-to-surface missiles into precision-guided missiles near an airport in Beirut. The accusation, which was leveled by Prime Minister Netanyahu during a speech to the United Nations General Assembly, was followed by a warning to Hezbollah.
Israel also knows what you're doing. Israel knows where you're doing it. And Israel will not let you get away with it.
Meanwhile, in Brussels, EU Foreign Policy Chief Federica Mogherini warmly welcomed her Iranian counterpart, Mohammad Javad Zarif, who is on a tour across Europe seeking to garner support for preserving the nuclear agreement with Iran. While the meeting did not last very long, an EU statement said that Mogherini had once again reiterated the EU's bloc's determination to preserve the multilateral nuclear deal. The statement further noted that Mogherini underlined the need for continued full and effective implementation of the Iran nuclear deal by all parties, including the economic benefits arising from it. Now back to Israel, where Jerusalem has decided to halt its security coordination with the Palestinian Authority in the area surrounding Jerusalem, that after Palestinian police units, in violation of the Oslo Accords, arrested in the West Bank city of Ramallah a resident of East Jerusalem who holds an Israeli ID card. The man, Issam Akel, is suspected by the Palestinian Authority of having sold a house in Jerusalem's Old City to Jews, which is forbidden under Palestinian law. In response to his arrest, Israel is considering the idea of taking additional steps against the Palestinian Authority in order to secure Akel's release. Thank you for watching us. You can also watch us at TV7 Israel News or TV7.fi, as well as on our YouTube channel, which you can subscribe to at TV7 Israel News. Praying for the peace of Israel and the peace of Jerusalem. I'm Jonathan Hassan. Have an Erev Tov and Shabbat Shalom. And we will see you again on Monday at the same time.